There's this silent force that quietly dictates so many of our everyday choices, usually without us even realizing it. I'm talking about fear. Today, we're going to navigate it together, just you and me, step by step, using the profound wisdom found in a single ancient text. Think about this for just a second. How many of your decisions today are actually being made by fear rather than by you, right? It's kind of a tough question to sit with. Has fear quietly just settled right into the driver's seat of your life? Let's be real. A lot of times, fear doesn't shout to get our attention. It just quietly takes the wheel. And I don't just mean running from bears in the woods. I'm talking about our everyday, completely normal routines. It's that meeting you suddenly avoided, or that carefully typed message you ended up deleting instead of sending. Or maybe it's that difficult conversation you've been putting off for weeks now. Fear isn't always about escaping physical danger. Honestly, it's very often just about avoiding everyday friction. Well, there is a short verse written nearly 2,000 years ago that speaks so directly to this. It reads like this: "For God has not given us a spirit of cowardice, but of power, of love, and of self-control." That's 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. And this is going to be the foundational anchor for our time together right now. Now, context matters immensely here. The writer is Paul, and he's actually penning these words from a Roman prison, fully knowing he likely won't make it out alive. He's writing to Timothy, this young leader carrying the incredibly heavy burden of a large church, facing intense opposition, and dealing with the fact that his mentor is facing death. So Paul isn't just tossing out empty platitudes to someone who has life all figured out. No, this is battle-tested advice for someone who literally had every legitimate reason to be absolutely terrified. And the really absolutely crucial point here is this. Paul doesn't scold Timothy for feeling afraid. Please hear me when I say this. Feeling fear is neither a sin nor a lack of faith. It's just a normal human emotion. Sometimes it's even a wise, necessary alert to real danger. Feeling nervous before a tough conversation, that isn't a spiritual failure. What Paul is actually saying here is simply that God didn't equip you to live your life completely ruled by panic. So let's look at what Paul means by cowardice, and let's do it without an ounce of shame. Being nervous is just being human. Cowardice, in this context, is simply letting fear make the final decision, like completely canceling that difficult conversation for good. The difference isn't about what you feel in your chest, it's about who is actually making the decision. Because instead of a spirit of cowardice, the text says we are equipped with 3 specific things. The first is power. And listen, we absolutely do not mean aggression or dominance here. Power is simply the forward momentum to keep moving, even when your legs are trembling. It's that God-given strength to just take the next step, despite the very real fear you feel. The second gift is love. Fear has a funny way of making us incredibly selfish, doesn't it? It makes us retreat inward to protect ourselves at all costs. But love acts as this outward focus. It gently pulls us out of that self-protective retreat so we can actually engage with and deeply care for the people around us. And the third is self-control. I want to be super clear on this one. Self-control is not about emotional coldness, and it is certainly not about ignoring or suppressing clinical anxiety or real trauma. Not at all. It's about calm clarity. It's the ability to think clearly when everything inside of you just wants to react impulsively or, run for the hills. Okay, so how do we actually apply this to our lives right now? Well, here is a really simple 3-part framework to get you moving again. Step 1, name the fear. Step 2, evaluate the fear. And step 3, take one small step. Let's walk through exactly how to put this into practice today. Starting with step 1. Remember that a nameless fear becomes a giant in our minds, but a named fear, that can actually be looked right in the eye. So don't just say, ugh, I feel bad. Try to be really specific. Say, I am afraid of being rejected, or I am afraid of failing at this new project. Just naming it takes away a fraction of its power almost immediately. Next up, we need a little bit of honest self-evaluation. Ask yourself, is this fear pushing me to hide? Is it telling me to stay silent, or maybe to react without love? Stopping to ask this really helps you see clearly if fear is the one trying to make the decision for you in that moment. And before we hit step 3, actually taking that small step, sometimes we just need a quiet moment to recenter. So if you're open to it, let's reflect on this short prayer together. Lord, today fear is trying to steer my decisions and cloud my mind. Thank you for not leaving me to face this alone. I choose to believe that you have given me the power to move forward, the love to think of others, and the self-control to think calmly. Help me take the next step with a sober mind. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, I'm definitely not going to promise you that your fear will magically vanish the moment our time together ends today. That's just not how life works. But I will leave you with this thought. Fear may knock at your door, but it absolutely does not have to run your home. You can take back the wheel. Save these steps, keep them close for the next time fear tries to take control. One verse, one step, every day.